What's up, everybody? My name is Vincent II. Some of you know me, some of you don't. For those that don't, welcome. It's good to meet you. I'm a musician in Wichita, Kansas. I'm in college right now for music theater, and I started writing a few songs. I really liked them, been taking it around. People have been liking it. It's been a lot of fun. But I'm not here to play some music today. I'm here to listen to some music. Now, I do this every week anyway. I listen to 3 new albums, and I really listen to them over and over and over again and try and get a good feel for them. And what I'll do is I'll deep dive artists that are like considered great artists, or somebody close to me really recommended. And I'll do that, and what I'll usually do is I'll find one artist that's like kind of like a big artist that's got several albums, and then I'll try and find an artist that inspired them and one that they inspired. And so from there, I'll kind of do a deep dive of all 3 of those. And that's what we're starting today. The artist that I chose that this is based on is Leonard Cohen. And if you don't know who Leonard Cohen is, it's the guy who wrote Hallelujah, and he's an amazing artist. He's a true poet, and he's got just such a unique voice that changes and grows over the time, over the decades, and it's great. I'm very excited to listen to all of his albums. I've never done that before, but a person that showed up in his Inspired By playlist on Apple Music is Hank Williams Sr. And Hank Williams Sr. on Apple Music, and that's what I'll use as kind of my basis, you know. If I get recommended other ones, I'll probably jump on there as well. But he has 5 full albums on Spotify. I'm sure that there's more, but that's kind of what I go by, is what's considered an album on Apple Music. And the first one that's on there, and it says it's from 1952, is called Moanin' the Blues. And here I'll kind of break down how I'm going to structure this. What I do is I make sure that I listen to every single song on the album 3 times. And what I do is when I'm at the gym on Monday, I pop it on, I listen to all 3, and I kind of get a general feel for it. And what I'll do for you guys is I'll kind of talk about the feel of all 3 albums on the first day. And normally I'll make it on Monday, it'll be released on Tuesday. It's not going to be that way this time. But then from there, as I listen to each album again, I'm going to make little shorts talking about just how I feel about each song. And these will be real short. I'll probably post them on my Instagram stories as well as the YouTube shorts. And then at the end of the week, I'll do a video that really does a more deep dive on the album as a whole. I'll even try and include a little bit of the history about it. Sometimes there won't be a ton, but I like that stuff anyway, so I'll bring a little bit of that to you, kind of how they created it. So without further ado, let's just talk about this. We'll probably not spend as much time as we normally would deep diving it, but it's a good start. The first one is called Moanin' the Blues. And I mean, Hank Williams for me is so often associated with like super hardcore country, and coming from a modern context, country has really changed. I mean, even from when I was younger, I mean, talking like 2010s. Early 2010s. I mean, country music has changed a lot. It was at one point the place for storytelling, and it was a beautiful time, and that's what I really value the most in music, is when it can tell some kind of beautiful story and make you feel a certain kind of way. And so this really gets back to the root of that, and it more reminds me. I mean, it is more blues. I mean, it's got more of a little bit more country vibe. It's got more violins and things like that. But a lot of it is really just that kind of old-time blues sound, where he sings about, you know, missing his lady and being sad that he has to be kind of gone from his existence for so long. A lot of it is mostly guitar and vocals and harmonica, but there's violins in there, and a lot of more classic country sounds in there. And a lot of it is just a lot about missing people as far as the lyrical content was. And I, you know, later on I like really pay attention to the lyrics, but when it's there, I just try and take it all in. And they all had this wonderful melancholy feel to it, where it was kind of like it felt like something on like a sad day or a day where you're just kind of like vibing, like just a little melancholy that just, it would hit perfectly. And that really does continue on into the second album on his list here. They're all three quite similar, and I like all three of them. I really do. I think I might like the middle one a little bit more because there's a little bit more of a soundscape in this one, and it's called Ramblin' Man Undubbed Edition, and it says it's released in 1955, and it features Hank Williams with the Drifting Cowboys. Now, again, I haven't really researched the back of it, but I'm assuming that's kind of like his backing band. And this one has a lot more of a soundscape to it. It's a much surer musical album, and it really there's a song on there called "My Son Calls Another Man Daddy." That song that hits so hard. I mean, and a lot of these. I mean, I think you. Once you've heard enough like folk and country and things like that, I mean, you really, and then go back and listen to this guy. I mean, this dude, so much of the tropes that were eventually explored in country music were discovered here. I mean, there's even lots of songs that I've heard that are almost exact copies of a lot of these songs, and they're beautiful. I mean, they really are. And they're not, I mean, like a lot of love songs are just like, I love my baby, I love my baby. This is a real more complex look at it, that it's like, man, you know, I don't want to be lonely, but I have this need to ramble, to go, to fly. And that's that kind of melancholy. It's a dissonance. It's, why can't I just want, all of me want the same thing, you know? And it's a really cool album. A very interesting soundscape on that one. Now, usually I'll do these a lot fresher, like right after the why, and talk about them. But today I'm doing it a day after, so it's a little bit less fresh, so I can't talk about it as well as I usually could. But the third one that I did for this week is called "Sing Me a Blues Song," which again, they all have that real blue element to it, but this one does. I mean, they seem to kind of get a little bit more classic country-esque as they go on, you know, more of the, I don't think it's a zither, it's the, you know, like that kind of instrument that just kind of feels like down-homey and, you know, breezy. There's mandolins and things like that as they go on. And this one, again, it's a lot about kind of having to leave something that you don't necessarily want to leave, and it leaves you with that kind of melancholy experience to it. I highly recommend any of these three, and I will be going into depth over the next couple of days on each album and each song. Please look it up on Apple Music or Spotify. I'm not going to play them myself because I don't want to, like, you know, get marked for copyright infringement, and I'm going to definitely be taking through some of these more copyright heavy people. But yeah, thank you for joining me on this first video. It'll get more clean, a little bit more organized as we go on. This is just an interesting idea I had, but I think it'll be a lot of fun. I think I'm going to like doing it. It didn't take me very long either, so here we are. Anyway, again, my name is Vincent II. I've been really blessed to have you all here. Peace and handshakes.